this thing should be making the little... There's so much lag. I don't know why that's... There's a bunch of lags.
But I don't need it.
Okay, so that seems to... All right, we don't know who the peoples are. All right, let's do this. Yeah, I'm not exactly on top of it. There we go. Hello and welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AKAAWOL, and today we are still working on the big project. It seems like that's going to be quite a while kind of thing. So, if you're new here to my channel, thank you. Welcome. Hello. I'm a French bracelet maker that have been doing it for more than 30 years. And I make some pretty neat stuff. And I like sharing my insight into making stuff. So, yeah, well, big project has come a long ways since last week. And, oh, hey, we have somebody here. Amaris is listening. Hello, Amaris. Thank you for stopping in. Don't worry, you don't have to chat. I talk enough for everybody here. So anyways, a lot of progress. Let me see. Wait, this is maybe 3. So this is where I was a couple days ago. I did this shot for a YouTube short. I had gotten all the way across the other side, which means I basically had come down far enough where I couldn't go without adding string. And that's kind of what I'm doing now, is I'm adding a lot of string. And I thought this might be kind of helpful for some people who, you know, maybe they want to do a big project, but they're concerned that they were thinking that you had to have everything cut to length, which is completely not the case. The length to here is almost 30 cm, like almost exactly 30 cm, which is like 11.8 inches for the American people who don't do metric, which is pretty long. I mean, it's so long that I have to actually change up the strings in order to do it. Now we're going to do this square just like this one here, or this one here. Maybe this one might be easier for you to see. So it's just one blue, and then this orange comes over and back. Now you can see this orange is pretty short. And even if the string isn't necessarily too short at the moment, I know that it can't last much longer, right? So it's a good time to replace it. Don't wait until you're down to like some little tiny bit of stuff. That's a bad idea. It just makes it that much harder, and it'll take that much longer to do. So I've got some string over here off to the side, and at some point I will have to get up and go get more string to be able to do this with you guys. So you'll have to bear with me tonight. This is going to be a little bit less rehearsed than, say, any of my other ones. So here we go. So this is folded completely in half, and again, this is why I double up my strings, and so I can do exactly this. So this new orange one is 1/3 of a skein in length, and I folded it in half, and I run it up the length of this string here. So when I tie this knot, I have basically now have this piece is locked into place. It can't go anywhere as long as I pull both of them. If I pull one side, of course, it'll kind of slide through there. So to keep it from kind of sliding or going anywhere, it's the one I use to make the next knot, right? So I get that up to the top, and then I take the tail of the one I'm replacing, pass it over, and then I finish my knot. Now that's probably enough to hold that from ever coming unraveled. But I get scared. I'm paranoid. I want this thing to last forever. I want it to go through washing machines. So I'm going to do it again and again. Because that way I can feel really confident in the fact that it won't go anywhere. Right? So I just do half the knot. And you would think that because you're adding a whole nother string right down the middle of this knot, you would think that it would be like so much bigger. And there might be a slight size difference, but maybe if you just cinch that up really nice and tight, you really can't see it. I mean, if you take a look at this row here, all kinds of strings have been replaced, and it doesn't look any different from the ones up here that were not replaced at all. So that's just it's a bonus. Now the one thing, see, I was trying to slide this out of my way so I don't see it anymore. The one thing you do have to be aware of is the fact that you have replaced that string, and you don't want to accidentally pick it up later on. You don't want to build off of it. It can look like some of the other stuff that you're working with, and that can be a real problem, right? Now, this particular square is interesting because this orange was meant to come to the end and then bounce back coming inwards. But I can see that I have this orange here, and it too is really short. So what can I do? I can just go straight to the end. And now I've essentially replaced that string. But now this one's short. So what happens now? What I'll do is I'll grab a couple more oranges and replace it on the way coming back, because it's a nice long straight row, right? That's a really easy place to swap out at. This one is going to happen at the corner. It's, you know, barely even used. It's a little tiny dot. You can see it's the same as, which one? Not this one, right? It's just a little tiny dot. So it's going to be easy to replace here. So looking ahead, seeing what you have to do, that is going to make things easier. All right, so now we're going to go in the other direction. So this is, I'm going to replace this orange one here. So I do half of the knot. I grab my length off to the side here. And I just want to make sure that I kind of put the two ends together. If you don't get this even, you end up losing a good chunk of string. So yeah, why waste it if you know you don't have to? All right. There we go. All right. So let's lock that in place, and now I'll take the new string, do half, bring the old one over, and you can see that the old one it's kind of long, not real long, but it's kind of. But this is a really good place for this one to get swapped out. Again, I don't want to wait until the last second. I've done that in the past, and yeah, that can get real ugly. So I'm kind of leaning towards the idea of don't cheat yourself by trying to save money. It's just ends up bad. It really does. Now you can see like this red one, this is really short. That's as far as it goes right there. So some are a lot shorter and need of replacement a lot more than others. And again, see this one's again pretty short. So I'm just gonna go straight here with this orange. All right, now, okay, so we're doing like this, right? So there's a lot of blue next. And again, I'm going to try to get those oranges sort of up and out of the way. Let's see if I maybe go this direction with it. There we go. That'll work for now. Oh, let me share something else with you. Let's see, which number is it? Image 3, this one. So this was from earlier this week. You might not notice it right away, but on the far right hand side, you can see that there are two squares that are absolutely identical to each other. And that one that's in the corner kind of below it and that edge piece, they are blocking my ability to untie the knots to get that one wrong one out. So I had to undo a lot of knots. And unfortunately, though that square that's basically the same as what I'm working on here tonight, that one I had added the strings already. So the fortunate part was I didn't cut off the tails yet, you know, the stuff from on the back of it. So yeah, that was pretty difficult. I had to undo a lot of knots. It pretty much cost me a better part of an afternoon to fix it because I hadn't looked, and I don't know, that particular set of knots had been done from like a couple weeks ago. And coming around to it when I got to work, I just started going at it. I didn't even bother to check anything. And by the time I noticed it was too late. So like I said, fortunately I hadn't cut it, because if I had cut the strings off the back, it would have been very, very difficult to have done anything with it at that point. So just before you cut off the backs, really just make sure everything is exactly how you want it. Undoing knots is a pain, granted, I will grant you that, but trying to fix it after you've changed up the string and you only have like a little teeny tiny bit to work with, yeah, that's much harder. Okay, so now the next are these blues. Now these blues are going to have to get changed up. They are quite short, and this is going to be a little bit trickier, right? So I've tied the first two together just because that's a little bit easier than trying to add string on that one. All right, and then the next I'll go and I'll just do my half, and then I have blue strings to the side. And again, I just kind of put the ends together so I can get it folded nicely in half. Get myself a little loop here. I don't know if you can see that. And there we go. Move that up here, and bang. It is locked in place. Now, it's locked in place, but the next knot is a white knot, right? Like this. So I leave these two together, and I go take the white and I go over top of both sets. And that's going to really help kind of get that locked in place. But is that enough? Not for me, right? So what I'm going to do now is take the longer one, the new one, and do half, and then pass the shorter one through the center. And now this time, at this red one here, the blue has got to go from to the right and then to the left. So I'm going to start with my one to the right, get this tail out of my way here, pass the tail through it, and I'm just going to go off to the left because this is far enough I don't have to add any more to there. And that tail now is done. It goes bye-bye. Pass it up underneath over on this side here. And we're going to do the same thing on this other side. It kind of looks like things are a little bit bent out of shape or whatever. That's okay. When we do the knots that come behind it, that's where things kind of get tightened and pulled together. And that's where like doing good firm knots really comes in handy, is because you can really shape your project by just doing the firm knots. So here we go. Half the knot, and then we grab another blue. So if you have any questions, ask. I will do my best to answer. There we go. So then I finish the other part of the other half of that knot. Bring the two together, and the white goes over top of that. That looks to me like that white is getting kind of short. I'm probably okay for the moment, but I'm probably gonna have to replace that one soon, which is weird because so far I haven't had to replace any of the whites yet. I've kind of come to the conclusion at this point that it's not going to be like it was with the light blues. Now, if you were here in one of the previous videos, the light blues all pretty much ran out at the same time. Here, I'm going to pass that blue through, and then bang. So all the light blues pretty much went out all together, and that was really convenient. But these other colors were used in different strengths or different amounts as it went along. So so far I've had to change up like maybe 2 of the yellows, almost all of the reds, a lot of the oranges and blues. It's just been a series of so much getting changed up, and I knew that was what was going to happen. It's part of this thing. Now this blue here is a bit longer, so I think we're going to go ahead and just let that be for this moment. It just does a little diamond here anyways. That doesn't get used a whole lot, and I'll catch that in the next square. So it's kind of executive decisions. Again, you don't want to wait till it's too short, but you still need to keep them in check. All right. There we go. Now the white one. And then the blue closes up the diamond here. Now, you can probably, I'm not sure if you can see this very clearly, but because we have the nice new blue lengths, they nice and long, and it's just going to come along here nicely. Bring the white over top, and then the blue down. Okay, cool. Do the other side. So this is kind of nice chill here tonight. A little bit quieter than normal, but that's okay. Give me a little bit better chance to concentrate on what I'm doing, I suppose. I know there's quite a number of people who end up catching my live streams at a much later time because of the whole time zones and stuff. So if you're watching this at a later time other than when it's live, hello, welcome. You guys are absolutely awesome for being here. I appreciate it very much. Okay, so that blue is what's gone. See? Making sure that I don't confuse what goes where. So this orange is now short, and it's going to go to this short little red right here. And I'm going to need a couple pieces of string to do that. Hang on. Okay. I am back. I grabbed 2 pieces because obviously both sides are going to need to be changed up. So, all right, so object. Take the first one, do half the knot, nice and tight, up in there, really up in there, will help make room for this piece to get in there and become unnoticeable. And that too is part of the whole what you're trying to do. You're trying to change out strings where nobody else can see that something has happened. Okay, do half, slide this short one through, and knot. Do the half, short one through, finish the knot. Short one through. There we go. That's good. 4 knots. That's probably plenty. Slide that one off to the side there. And now I'll take this one, comes on the blue to the right, or excuse me, to the left, and then to the right. Okay. And there we go. And really, you cannot see. I wish there was a way I could zoom a little bit more for you, because really, this is coming out so perfectly smooth. Not bad at all. Okay. Get that first one in. These reds are so short. Seriously. I don't like leaving them to where they get too short. And how short you think is too short is really going to be subjective. For me, if it's less than 5-6 inches, that it's probably way too short. Okay. So this is just like the other one, except for going the opposite direction. Do half my knot, bring the tail over, do the other half. Oops. Out of the way. And there we go again. All right. And then the last thing is that these two blues get tied together. And I'm going to bring the light blue down. Now this is any kind of flaws or whatever. At this point, this light blue would help kind of crunch things together and make sure that, you know, like any flaws would be hidden, you know, because if you pull this nice and tight, if there's any little gaps or anything, that will help make sure that it's really, really well hidden. So this is so weird. Like, I expected a whole bunch more people to be here already. Especially after, like, yesterday, I did a video about the bookmark. And that seemed to be, according to YouTube, one of my most popular videos as of recently. So I kind of did, I think I mentioned that I'd be live today. Okay. I guess it's getting closer to Halloween. Maybe people are out getting some shopping in, make sure they have their costume for next week. Something, I don't know. But if you're here watching this and you can hear my voice, thank you again. I do appreciate it. Please hit the like and subscribe. That would help my channel a lot. That would be awesome. let's see if we can kind of move this camera in for a second. No, it doesn't go in far enough. Well, the big take on this is you can't see where all these strings were replaced, and if you, except for on the back. But this is what it looks like behind it. So yeah. And for at the moment, see, before I was pulling them all off to this side, but the distance between here and the edge is now gotten to be longer than what some of the lengths of the strings are. So that's making that much more difficult. Now we have the reds, which are very short, and they're going to need to be replaced as well. So that's going to be a little challenge, especially since the flock that we're doing is I don't know if you can see it. It looks like this. All right, so it's just basically one orange, then two reds, three yellows, and then a white with a little red cross in it. So I'll have to be a little bit more creative. So this is a chance for, if you're really kind of new to the whole idea of adding string, this is going to be a really great example of basically trying to deal with a bad spot. This is like the least ideal one. All right, let me go grab a couple more reds and then we'll do it. Okay, so this is not my preferred way of doing this, but there are times where you don't just get to choose what you want, right? So I'm going to, right out the bat, I just did the one orange, now it's the two reds, right? Grab my red here. Go ahead and add that on. Look at that. Nice long orange to work with. That's good. Okay. Now I'm going to go to the other side. Orange and red. I'm going to do the same exact thing. Again, you would think that because we're going to really bulk up on this one knot, it would become a huge eyesore in the work. And the fact is, it doesn't. It really doesn't. At least not if you are pretty consistent in your knots. You basically are going to just tie it so tight that it hides away. Hey, got like yeah, just got it. Hello. Trying to do names, not my thing, but yes, welcome. I've been busy while over here all by myself. I'm well. How are you? I've been talking to an audience of one, and she can hear me in real time as well as through the thing, so it's nice. Thank you for being here. You missed some of the fun stuff. You'll have to come back and watch the beginning because I just got done explaining how to add string in difficult places. So it's a really been a doozy. All right. So yeah, so now basically I'm bringing these yellows over top of the reds, and the reds are now doubled up, right? So it goes, the yellow goes over the orange, over the doubled up reds, and then to the yellow again. And the red is going to have to go over that white. At which point, basically, we'll do the same thing as that how we added on. We'll use the long string to tie the knot and put the short one through the middle just to kind of help secure it down. These whites are really short too, man. At least this one is. Okay, so the other white, look at this. This one, we can fold it and you can't even see all of it. And this one is only this long. So we're gonna have to do something about a white as well. So I kind of knew this going into this video that I was going to be changing up various strings and that there would be an element of lessons and stuff. Just I still have 2 blue strings over to the side. You can't out of the camera's range or whatever. But yeah, I did not anticipate quite all the ones that are going to need the help here. So, all right, I'm going to bring the white down from the other side so I have a little bit of space. Well, yeah. Let's do this, the whole of this side of the pattern, and that way when we bring the white down, when we add, we can have all the space needed for that. You may not understand, but I'll try to explain what I'm doing as I go. Okay, so this is the 2 reds. Ah, that's awesome. So, okay, so for anybody else watching or any future viewers, she is talking about, I have a merch shop now for some pretty cool stuff. Yeah, I have a whole boatload of this catalog is coming my way. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. She's actually wearing it tonight, which is so cool. I am completely flattered. I think that's amazing. So thank you. Yeah, that's way cool. I can't wait for mine to get here. I'm probably gonna wear like the same shirt for every video after mine arrives, just because. So, all right, like I was saying before, I'm gonna do this corner down here because the white string coming this way is in need of replacement. So if I give myself room for that whole thing to happen, it'll just be a little bit easier. Now this red still has the long one and the short one together, and as I go over it, I'm basically assuring that that's never going to come unraveled. And at this point, it's probably because it started way back up here and it's come down, it doesn't need any more. So what I'll do in this next one is this orange here. I'll come over and I will only tie it to the longer of the 2, and in doing so it basically kind of squishes the 2 short ones down. That makes it just that much easier to kind of slide those off to the side. So we'll put that with the other ones over here. So, Gothic, did you get to see the other video, the bookmark video? Well, it's going to be a bookmark only because I started off flat. It looks like this. Ta-da! This one. Basically, this is me testing a pattern for a pillow that I want to make and seeing how wide this is and how many times I'd have to repeat it. And I really like it. I'm just not sure about the colors. Halfway through. Okay. Yeah, it was a lot longer than I had first anticipated. I just, I don't know what happened there. I got in a pretty happy mood, and I I just kept filming. So it was kind of fun. I had a lot of fun with that. Oh, and if you watch it now, I'll actually get credited. So it turns out a lot of the videos that I've been doing that I release early for my Patreon people, which, by the way, Patreon people are the best, you know, obviously. But when they watch the video and it's not released to the public, it actually doesn't go towards my time that Google measures for the whole becoming monetized. So yeah, so if you get a chance, go back, watch it. Now that it's public, it actually counts. Why it didn't count, I don't know. I don't understand. You would think that, well, I don't know what you think, but it doesn't count. All right, so now I'm going to replace this white just because it's so short. Let me grab a white. All right, now line up the ends so I can find the middle. Loop it over this yellow. There we go. And I take the long one, pass the short one through. Whoa, hang on, wasn't quite tight enough. Notice when you can kind of see it shift around like that, you just know it's not going to be as pretty. So just a little tug and it's back to being good. Pass the short one through. Now, one of the things I have kind of noticed, and it has me a little bit bothered, is the white thread is just a bit thicker than some of the others, especially like this red. But it's just a little bit thicker, so it just seems a little bit bolder when I tie the knots. Nothing I can do about it, but it's there. It's in the mix. I can see it every time I tie it. There we go. Now pass that short one off with these guys. Oh, and the other thing, so my desk is actually adjustable, but my seat is already at its highest point, and unfortunately my strings are dragging on the floor, so this is making me slightly crazy because occasionally I get them caught in the casters of my chair. So yeah, that's kind of a bummer. Yeah, the earthy colors for the thing is really cool, and I really like it. The one thing about that particular pattern, and I'll kind of go, I'm planning on doing a video for this next Friday, where I'm going to get back and work on this again for a little bit. Is you can't, okay, so there's 6 colors in the fade and there's 6 other colors. And the one thing that you really can't do with it is you can't do 6 rainbow and 6 grayscale. How's that for an example, right? And the reason why you can't is because the grayscale fade will become really evident when it's the color that comes out. Because, well, here, I'll pull this thing out again. So these browns here were the browns from up here. So if this was all grayscale and these were all vibrant, you would see the grayscale kind of coming into it. And the reason why this kind of works out as well as it does is because all of the colors have a similar tone value, right? And that's what helps sell it as being these being different from these. But these two browns, this one here, this one up in here, yeah, it's the colors from the other part of the bracelet. So yeah, it's if you want to make the illusion nice, you have to try to do the tone things. Like, so yeah, I'm still a little on the fence as to like maybe those ones, or maybe the fade is more like a aquamarine. That would be kind of nice and kind of mellow or whatever. Putting some neon in it is not necessarily a bad idea. It just requires it requires the other colors in the fade to be sort of a value that would let that kind of slide, which may, and that can totally be a thing. I mean, I might actually do that. Yeah, right, it does blend in, and that's, well, that's similar to, so this is basically the same kind of pattern, right? I don't know if you can tell. It's as if you folded it this way, all right? So this is basically the same. So this is the bracelet that's going to be in this month's giveaway for the Patreon. So by next week, I guess, I will take all the people in Patreon, assign them a number, and then let the computer do its thing, which is how I draw the numbers. Yeah, neon is fun. Neon is way cool. I know that Irina, she really likes the neon stuff. She had even suggested on my video yesterday that I should go with the neon. It just really comes down to how do I match that value, that kind of yeah, how do I sell it? How do I make that work? Maybe there's, I don't know. I really have to kind of think it through as to how to get it to, maybe the fade isn't a fade, maybe the fade is a rainbow, and then like a couple of the colors in the rainbow are neon, and then a couple of colors in the chevron are also neon. In which case, I really end up with a very vibrant pillow for sure. So that's a possibility. I mind you, all choices have to actually be passed by the boss. The boss is over here at my side. Yeah, that bracelet is I think for a while there, one of my other Patreon people, John Cook, he was convinced that I only ever double up my string. This is not doubled up, so it's really nice and thin, dries out really nice. So it's a fun one. It's got, the colors are a lot of fun. So yeah, playing around with something kind of a while back, did a whole bunch of different variations on the theme just to see how they would turn out. It was pretty cool. If you ask me, I really like how it turned out. So it turns out that right at the moment, like the whole chat bar thing is directly behind my camera. So if you notice me doing this, is I'm trying to actually read what's over there, and yeah, that, see, maybe, so basically I'm gonna have to order up the string, and unfortunately my main string dealer does not have neon. That comes from a different source, And the source that has the neon is, I don't want to use the word not reliable, but the consistency is not reliable. So I've ordered from them, how many? Is it twice? Or 3 times? 2 or 3 times. And for the colors I was expecting, they were different. And if I had something started and needed it to be a consistent, this would have been a disaster. And there seems to be no, you can't just call them up and say, hey, dude, this shade of green is not the same I got last time. They don't, it's out of China, it just doesn't fly. So yeah, the other guy with the 447, they're pretty consistent, they're awesome. So yeah, it's using that is going to have to require that I really know my numbers in advance, and I really know how much string I need. Like if I run out of any of this, I know that I can send the numbers to the guy, and what I get back is going to be exactly what I had. So yeah, pros and cons to everything, right? But yeah, I do like the idea of some neon stuff in there. That could be way fun. Although I have to admit, I was kind of thinking, so one of the patterns I want to do is the dovetail. And I was definitely thinking doing something like a rainbow and having some kind of fluorescent involved into that. I'm not sure. Maybe like the yellow and green, make those fluorescent, and then maybe like a scarlet red or something. You know, just to really punch it up a bit, make it fun. Oh, Gothic, I noticed you had a bunch of yarn and stuff. My goodness. You look like you're ready to do Afghans or something huge, I guess, right? Like, that's a lot of yarn. Okay, right on. Wow. Yeah, I can't shame anybody on hoarding. I've got so much embroidery floss, it isn't even funny. What can I say? I know that I'll eventually use it. And I'm ever trying to approach the point of where I can just start giving stuff away. That's my real end goal, is that be able to have YouTube and Google pay the bills, and then I can just make stuff to give away, come up with all kinds of different ideas and such. Yeah, I saw that you had some oh. I saw you had some like mixed colored ones that looked really interesting. 8-ball, man. Oh, that was a hilarious thing too. Yesterday I set my video as a premiere, and it turns out that when you have a premiere video, the 8-ball works, and he was hilarious. Oh, see, that's too good. I don't know how to say the new person's name, but hey, what? How?
Yeah.
Zero?
Yeah.
Zero? I'm sorry. Hello. Uh, My wife is like trying to coach me on pronunciation. It's still like, nope. Tongue will have no nothing to do with that. Nope, nope, nope. That's okay. So it's quite a bit easier now that I'm kind of gotten a little further along. Okay, so it's a yellow one that's short. All right. Trying to assess which ones get changed. Mind you, I've just changed up a whole bunch of strings. That yellow is going to need it soon-ish. Okay, so 9 in the morning seems incredibly early. But that's just us over here. We like to sleep in a bit. Lily says hi. Hello, Lily. I'm gonna hang on a second. Let's see if I can. Hang on. Hey, look at that. I can actually see the screen now. Alright. I just have to mind the chair because I don't like rolling over the ends of my strings. Oh, that's so cool. Scrapbooking is very, very cool. Not something I can do personally, but yeah. I have a bullet journal for myself, which is a lot less artsy than the ones you see on Instagram. But yeah, I think the whole scrapbook thing is way cool. Being able to go back and look through stuff from, you know, different points in your life. That's super cool. Yeah, bullet journal is a lot of fun. I do definitely enjoy it. Well, a lot of it is like, so I went to the doctor here recently, and she wanted to be able to see how my blood pressure was doing in conjunction with how much sleep I was getting. So I actually had a page where I've been measuring my blood pressure, as well as having like this little graph chart thing of showing how many hours I had for sleep each night. And it turned out that she was able to look over it really quickly and be like, wow, great. You know, this is, you know, you are getting enough sleep and your blood pressure is doing much better. And it was pretty cool. I mean, it's, like I said, it's not the artsy kind of, you know, whatever, but actually having it serve the purpose of having a doctor be able to just at a glance see where I was, that was way cool. Oh, scrap. Okay, right on. But basically you glue stuff into the pages while doing a journaling kind of thing, right? That's the scrapbooking part of it, right? So yeah, that's very cool. Right. No, and so I don't put a whole lot of art in with my stuff yet. Because most of the time right now, honestly, my focus is so much on getting this done. I probably need to spend some time doing some other art stuff and kind of take a break from this. But I don't know. I just I so want to see this thing completed so I can get on to doing some other stuff. I have a bunch of ideas. Like, so I recently got this. I don't know, too close. Let's go to this camera. So I recently got this really cool leather cover, which holds my pen and my bullet journal and all that. And I love it, but I can't help but to think about the clipboard I have, where I put in my own bracelet work. So I'm thinking, maybe, just maybe, I could combine the ideas and make a bullet journal cover that actually has cool bracelet stuff in there. And that would be really awesome. So my big, like I was saying before, my big end goal here is to get to a point to where I get to have an income from my videos, and then I can give that kind of stuff away, which would be really fun. That is way. I have a sticker collection started on the airplane trolley, and as well as there's a board back there that I use as a clipboard that's covered in stickers and stuff. So yeah. Somewhere I made a clip go flying. I don't know where it went. Right, and that's totally possible. Like just creating a fabric like I'm doing here. You could totally make a cover like that. But if you do it out of bracelet and leather, and use the leather across, like around the what do you call that part of a book? Around the corner part, the part that's bent. Not the top, not the bottom, the spine. So if you have leather across where the spine of the thing would be, it can take the brunt of the physical abuse that books get, right? So by combining leather and our bracelet work, you can do stuff. And I have a video where I did a bracelet where I combined bracelet and leather together, so you can kind of use some of that. But like yeah, these are some of the things that are going to come to this channel down the line. Like I absolutely know for a fact I'm going to create that, and whether or not it's just something for myself or something I give away, really comes down to the finances of it, because leather here is not cheap. So it's just trying to make things work out for the best is all I guess I'm saying. Yeah. But we do have some cool leather shops. I've definitely been getting some ads and stuff through Facebook. I think Facebook figured out that I know how to do stuff with leather, so now they're like constantly hitting me up with a couple shops here in Singapore. That's awesome. Yeah, I kind of wish that somebody had kind of gotten me into doing some form of journaling much earlier. I think it would be really great to have been able to look back, especially in the last like 10 years of me being here in Singapore. I think that would have been good. The problem was, like New Year's, I'd start off with the idea like, I'm gonna journal, I'm gonna put down my thoughts every day. And then somewhere before February, I'm like, I don't know what the hell to write in here. I didn't do anything. And that's where bullet journaling comes in for me, is that, you know, not every day has to be written about, just the days that you do something different. Because otherwise it'd be like, dear journal, I tied knots. Again. I mean, there would be no, where's the fun in that? Yeah. Yeah, and to add to the whole problem of being consistent, I have ADHD. I'm only recently been being treated for it, and trying to do something like steady every day kind of thing, even like just logging how much sleep and my blood pressure and stuff, really feels like a daunting challenge. Like and I know I work better if I have a routine. I get it. I am more, I don't know, what was the good word for that? Like this morning, I started off the day with riding the exercise bike. And as a result, I feel happier and healthier and have a better disposition. But yeah, it's hard. Silly kitties. Yeah. And so, right, it's tedious to keep track of the stuff. But at the same time, like in my journal, like if something came in the mail or something, I sent something in the mail, like I mailed out a bracelet or something, I put that in there. And for me, what the bullet journal is like if I get somebody says, hey, I bought a bracelet from you, and it's not here yet, I got somewhere I can go back to and be like, hang on, when did I mail that? And so that's part of what my journal is for me to kind of see where things were and things that, because if I try to keep it in my mind until you actually receive it, let's say I'm sending you something, prior to the journal, I would be constantly thinking, okay, I sent it Monday, till the point it makes me crazy because it takes, you know, sometimes a month before it gets there. And the whole month I'm thinking, okay, it was which Monday was it? Now that I write it down, I can move forward with life without that nagging feeling and stuff. So yeah. My wife is also very digitally organized, where for me, the act of physically writing something down not only helps me to remember things better, but it also, there's a certain connection I have with the actual writing. It really does good things for me. Hard to describe, but it's completely a thing. because you actually do things before the deadlines. Yeah, I'm not good with deadlines, especially if it's something that I'm not like super required or whatever. I don't know. Like I just not good at that part. So I'm super hyped about this. This is really coming out looking so good. And you notice, like, so I changed a bunch of strings up in here, and now I don't have to worry about anything for a little while. This yellow seems to be all right. So one of the ones that, like the yellow that was short, has come off to the side. I've got new sets. Yeah, that sounds an awful lot like ADHD right there. Like, that's, yeah, I always put things off. Mind you, I did terrible in school. Especially when I ended up at the school that my sisters had gone to, because they knew my sisters and they were such good students, and what's wrong with you? Like, oh my God. My big thing was I just couldn't stay focused and concentrate. Oh, shoot. I told myself before starting this video to slow down today and concentrate on the work so you don't have to take out any knots. And I just blew past where the white goes over top of the orange. So on a totally different side note, I decided that I would watch a scary show for a change while I did bracelets. Well, basically while I worked on this. And the bonus there is if it ever got too graphic, I could just, you know, bury my head in this. And it turned out okay. So I actually got to watch this whole Squid Game thing. Okay, bye Lily. I'm sorry you had to leave. So yeah, so ADHD is totally a hereditary type thing. So if your brother has it, there's a chance you may have it as well. The sad thing about the difference between a boy and a girl is that girls tend to be a little bit better focused, a little bit better able to manage through things and stricter on themselves. But that does not mean that it's any less of a problem and should be treated just the same. You know, if you think he has it, you might get yourself checked. So just a heads up, like there's a YouTube channel, I would link it, but I don't know what it's called. It's ADHD Life or something, I don't know. Nice girl. She definitely talks about the problem with women not getting diagnosed like boys do. So, Squid Game, yes. Kind of, yeah, I guess I did enjoy it. I mean, I kind of saw a lot of what was happening coming. Kind of, I kind of like sometimes when a show surprises me and I didn't actually predict the ending. And having read a bunch of stuff about the director, the guy, or not the director, the writer of it, he really didn't plan on making a second season, but the whole show looks like they ended it like they were totally expecting to do another season. So I'm kind of like, I don't know. I think as an American, I expect shows to have a start, beginning, and end, and wrap everything up in a nice bow at the end of it. And this one doesn't do that. And it's so Asian in that aspect. It's a lot of Asian shows like to do that. And sitcoms in America where they don't renew the seasons. So yeah, it's sort of, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, the whole having a show on while nodding. See, I can do it while I work, she cannot. That's the big takeaway there. And yeah, I watched it in 2 days as well. Right. Yeah, and the ASD is still a chemical thing, right? Is that like I'm not sure how that one actually comes about. I know that ADHD has something to do with the dopamine receptors and how, yeah, it also affects the decision-making part. I can't remember what she calls it. There's I've been trying to learn more about it here lately. Yeah, it was definitely different. It was definitely a very different show. Of course, I had to watch it just because there was just so much talk about it and so many memes and things going on. I just, all right, this is going to be a culture thing that we're all going to look back at some years from now. Might as well get it out of my system. Not a big fan of shoot 'em up kind of whatever, but it did have some interesting aspects to it. The whole notion that the higher ups, the thing that he didn't care that they were selling off body parts. The whole fact that somebody was not playing by the same rules as an equal, that was kind of fascinating. That was a fun take on it. Yeah, so chances are, because of the way the brain is wired and the way that it uses chemicals to actually function, there's probably something in the receptors somewhere that actually causes that. I know that for ADHD, it's a lot to do with the dopamine, which is like the reward chemical. Like you do something good and then your brain gives you the dopamine. For ADHD, we don't get a lot, and it kind of puts us in a weird thing. And then there's a functional portion of the brain that just does not want to get with the program and do adulting. Everybody knows the whole squirrel thing, but nobody realizes like there's a whole host of other things going on that makes it difficult. Stream Elements is hitting all the stuff at once. I gotta work on the timers there. Cool. So once I get through this row, I'll be back to adding string again, so bear with me. We want to see how that works. So I think I'm going to get myself into another series. I'm kind of maybe leaning towards finishing up How I Met Your Mother. And then somebody suggested that New York thing, the police department, that's supposed to be funny. Oh, I watched I think I mentioned this last week. I watched that Final Space and I absolutely loved that. That was so much fun. This is this one. Yeah, so oh, you weren't around for this one. Let's see, which number was that? 3. So this was when I first got adding to the boxes. I got there was even one more than this before I took the picture. On the right hand side, those two that are the same up and down, that was a mistake. And despite having added all the string and doing all the work, I still had to go back and take it apart because I didn't want that mistake. So if you see me kind of checking things out and trying to double check my work, it's because I'm really scared of making mistakes now. It's really easy to do. We're all human here. It's a fact that these things can happen. But yeah, you know, sometimes being a little bit slower might be faster. So yeah. So I noticed a lot of people end up coming and watching these videos after I've already made it. So definite shout out to all those people who are not seeing this here on this my Saturday night. Could be your Saturday morning if you're in any part of the Americas. But for those that have made it, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to doing some work after this whole thing is done. And I honestly, looking at how this week went and how the adding the string, mind you, let's see, where is that picture? Whoa, nope, wrong button. That one. I cut 120 skeins of embroidery flash just to put those up onto the wall. That was, yeah, that was a lot. Everybody talks about like how long does it take to make something, but nobody ever counts the number of hours that it takes just to cut string. Yeah, it was pretty brutal. Playing a lot of fun stuff tonight. Yeah. Especially when it's like 120 skeins. So it's like so, it feels like it takes forever. And mind you, 120 skeins, that's 15 skeins per color. So 15, that's 45 strands, because I cut it into thirds. So 45, that's 22 diamonds. And there's how many diamonds? There's 50, wait, 6, yeah, 54 diamonds going across. So that 120 skeins won't even take me halfway. How's that for doing math in my head? Yeah. It won't even take me halfway across this. Mind you, I can't believe I just did that in my head. That's that was pretty good for me. That was right. My math was right? Okay. Yeah, so there's 6 of the diamonds per segment. There's 9 of those segments. So yeah. So I don't know if you were around earlier, but I was talking about how all the blue, all of the light blue, all pretty much ended somewhere up here. And to my credit, I can't see where it got swapped out, but I know that it's up there somewhere. Anyways, but how these other colors are going, I am changing up quite a bit at this level, but other ones are kind of hit or miss. Some of the whites, some of the yellows don't need it as much. Which basically means that as the further from the top that I get, the more the when the colors happen to need to be changed is going to just be continually different. So yeah, that is what it is. There's no getting around it. It'll be sort of a haphazard as needed kind of thing. And that's just part of the whole project. That's the whole experience of doing this stuff. Yeah, you might have to go back and watch the first part because I added a whole bunch of string here. But I'm going to add more here in a little bit while too. I'm kind of having a good night, kind of enjoying myself here, so I will stay at it for a bit. But yeah, the further down I get, the more who knows what color will be needed kind of thing. And mind you, there's only 6 different colors to choose from. So as long as I keep the wall stocked, it's not that big of a problem. The real problem is where I add the string. Like, so you might notice most of the white is not in a real long path. Like this is the longest there is 5 knots across on that particular one. Everything else is just little dots. So changing it is a little bit more dodgy than some of the other colors. We just had that with the red up here when I changed out these reds. They don't do a long straight row, so that has to have its own special consideration when trying to change those up. So it's just a question of like, when do you decide that that's short enough to actually change it? And for me, honestly, I don't like working with strings less than maybe 6 inches. It's just right. I can kind of picture how that might be done. This is so like when I stitch that bracelet to the leather, like how I did the stitching. Yeah, you could. Right. I can picture it. Mind you, I like doing it where it looks like 2 bracelets have been sewn together, but it's actually the knots that join it. And that is one of the pillow ideas that I'm totally going to do. It's going to be so obnoxious because no matter what bracelet pattern I choose, to be able to do, what do you say the bracelet, the pillows were the widths? Like 16 inches or something? Like around 16 inches wide. So I don't know how many bracelets you can fit into that, but it sounds like a lot. And that's going to be fascinating, I think. It'll be obnoxious. One of the biggest problems about doing it where you have the multiple bracelets all together at once is typically you can't do too many rows. You can't work in a segment very easily without having the need from an accompanying space contributing strings to be able to work with. So yeah, it's going to be a dodgy one, and yeah, we'll see how that actually plays out. Should be interesting. There's so much stuff I'm so excited about trying and doing. Well, some of the the smaller bags. If you, I don't know if you've seen the bracelet bag that I did for my sister. Hers had what looks like several different bracelets put together in it. And again, that it was just an illusion created through the knots and changing up patterns and changing up the colors. That one was pretty cool. I don't know if she ever actually watched the video. I should find out if she ever actually watched it, because yeah, that was one of the projects I kind of started and put aside and kind of took forever to get it finished, mostly because I really love my sister and I really wanted it to come out perfect. And yeah, and I kind of used up some of the colors, and yeah, but yeah, once upon a time, long ago, I got tired of all my bracelets. I had like just a whole barrage up my arm, and so I sewed them kind of together. And what you can kind of do is you can kind of come up in the gaps in between where the knots are and then go down in the next gap, and that string will disappear. So I end up joining all the bracelets so that way it just came up my arm one after the other, and it totally works. I mean, it's a thing, but a thing like this, oh, it's the end, not the sides. Okay, right on. Yeah, I can kind of, well, I guess that'd be kind of like what I'm doing here, like just where I change up the strings. Maybe I could just change up the colors. I actually, if you look at the picture, let's see, which, this one, that picture for the background there, that's actually DMC floss, and that is actually one big huge piece that I was playing with, and don't ask me why. I tried going buck wild, and it was going to actually be for the back of a denim jacket. And yeah, some of the patterns and stuff got changed by actually changing out the strings that were involved. I never got around to finishing it. I still have it. The big thing, of course, is that back when I was doing it, I could buy DMC floss for a whole lot cheaper, and now I can't, and I don't know. Not sure what it'll ever come to, or if I'll ever even actually finish it. Not bad. Not bad at all. Oh, this is going to be a wall hanging. Picture. That one. There's this little area at the bottom is what's been added to it since that picture. So like, this much longer than what that other picture of me just had. But yeah, it's going to be a wall hanging, something I want to put up in my house. I want it to be basically on the wall above a couch that's covered in pillows that are made out of the same fabrics. So, yeah. I think it's going to be pretty neat. It's literally the biggest project that I've ever undertaken. And I admittedly went a little bit overboard in the design, but I like it. So is the Steven Madrid, is that really the name, or you are from Madrid, or you're a fan of the football in Madrid? Inquiring minds want to know. You too? Yeah. My wife and I both are curious. That's... I'm supposed to get me the drink. You just gotten quiet. I'm sorry. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. That means a lot. Okay, cool. All right. I was suddenly thinking that maybe we found somebody in a faraway land. Okay. Where in the U.S.? I'm originally from the Detroit area. I now reside in Singapore. And excuse me, I'll pour myself a little drink here. Trying to not have the bottle show up on camera because basically people don't pay me to advertise for them. So. Oh, that's lovely. So Steven, where in the US? No, there's a little lag. I think you missed the question. Oh, that's good. Oh, I was stationed when I was in the Navy in California, down in San Diego. Only went as far from San Diego up to Six Flags. Was the farthest I ever traveled from the base. But I liked California. Except for the whole lack of rain thing. Like, basically, Southern California is kind of deserty. Not completely desert, but pretty desert-ish. Yards full of stones instead of plants. Big difference from Michigan. Okay, hi Chris. The strings start out as 1/3 of a skein, which is the skeins are what, 8 meters, so it's a little more than 2 something and change. How I keep things from getting tangled, that's kind of one of my catchphrases. Don't get your strings in a bunch. A lot of it comes down to, let me see if I can bring this camera back out a little bit further here. So I have these clips, a couple of them are holding the board to the easel, but like this clip here is not. It is just basically, so I'm not doing anything with these strings at the moment. So I'll put them off to the side and then just flip that up, and it just kind of keeps them out of my way. So that's yeah, John, for sure is probably. But you know what a lot of people do, John, is they go to Mexico for grocery shopping because you can get stuff so cheap, and basically they don't really mess with you too much at the border as long as you speak perfect English. So yeah, I actually knew a lot of people that did that. So wait, back to the thing. Yeah, he doesn't get strings in the butt. by keeping things sort of just the area that you're working on, by keeping everything else out of the way, the strings don't get too messed up. And that's really part of the art of this kind of thing. There's this current project has there is 865 strings in it. So if I had all those just laying around and down and in my way, there would be a problem. But having just what I'm working on at any given point, yeah, it keeps that from being a problem. John, it is going very well. I'm happy you made it. That's for sure. It's going really well. I'm really kind of picking up a little pace with the whole adding the string. I admittedly, adding string is probably my least favorite part of this whole kind of project. So yeah, getting past that, that's gonna be that's a tough one. But it's part of what has to be done. I mean, there's no way that I could go what we want it to be about 60 cm, which is, how long is that? That's like, yeah, just short of 2 foot long. So there's no way of actually doing that with strings. It would just be too painful. You'd have to, even if you wound it around the little bobbins, if you had to, every time you pick up the string, you had to like try to fish the bobbin through the knot, that would be way more time consuming than it is to just add the string when needed. So yeah, it's a necessary evil, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at. Yeah, 8:30 in the morning, that's early. That is good time for a cup of coffee though. Kind of the opposite of what I'm having. Yeah. So the pattern there, I did a couple bracelets. Coffee inspired, I think was the first one, and caffeine addicted or caffeine, so I don't know, there's 2 coffee themed ones that I did, and basically it came down to the fact that I went to a coffee store that had a really fun color palette, and then I went and kind of tried to see what they had based it off of and went off of something like that. So getting straight rose, yeah, that straight rose is basically experience. I've been doing this for a really long time, and I'm just if things get kind of tweaked, you can kind of shift things around and I do that periodically, but the consistency really comes down to experience. It just takes some time to get used to doing bigger projects, and yeah, it's, if you notice it's sort of leaning to one side or another, you can kind of tighten up the knots or maybe make them a little bit looser or whatever to try to help balance things out. No, if you get,
Yeah, I get that part. You get closer.
yeah. So my wife is saying that, would a smaller project be more noticeable? Actually, no, I think not. I think in this, if you get it wrong up here, by the time you come down, it's just going to be way more amplified. And there's some, I mean, I know for a fact that some of this is not exactly a straight line. But I try to guide it along. I try to shift where necessary, try to keep things going as much as possible. But there's a human element to it, and I personally like that human element. I wouldn't want it. I know that there are some knotters out there who have a much more refined look, but I like there to have that look of some human element to it as well. So the imperfections that I have baked right into mine kind of help tell the story that this was, you know, done by a person's hands. But absolutely kudos to those that are like really, really good at having everything perfect. You know, that's fantastic. Oh yeah, so yeah, that's true. Okay, so I have a clip. You can't quite see it. It's over here on the side. Yes, working closer to the clip is easier. So the big thing is to try to not pull up and have this raised, right? As long as that's where things go wrong. Like if you go and take a candy stripe, right? You can, the further away from the clip you get, the more it tends to raise up a bit, and that will get the whole thing to start to go into like a barrel roll kind of curve, right? If you keep it completely against the clip, even kind of turn it like you're doing an alpha, you can do a candy stripe so perfect that it is rigidly flat. And John Cook can attest to this. I did a video about it. He tried it out, and yeah, it was picture perfect. Like, but for this, I can't work too close to the clips because where would I clip to? Like it's just it just isn't gonna work. Well, I could try to shift the whole thing. It's huge. Mind you, I weighed it back when it was like 310 skeins or whatever, and it was already like 651 grams of string, and trying to shift it around is super, super difficult. Like it really is a bit of a chore, you might say, to try to shift it. So once I get to over here and this whole thing moves, it's a production. First I have to get all these clips sort of out of its way, get these strings up and over and ready to shift. Yeah, this is no joke. This is really something else. Oh, thank you, John. I appreciate that. Yeah, you nailed it too. You totally took the idea, ran with it, and yours came out awesome. So yeah, sometimes it's difficult to kind of see or figure out why something happens the way that it does. And I am super, super analytical and super curious about things, and I look into things and I try, you know, having a hypothesis and try to work it out and see if I could figure it out. And so that's how I was able to figure out where the barrel roll thing came from. Because I always wondered, why is it that a candy stripe will do that roll, but as soon as you do a chevron, it doesn't? And that's because you're basically, both sides are canceling each other out, and that's why it comes out nice and flat. So then I got curious, well then, okay, what if you really, really want to have that candy stripe? And yeah, having sorted that out, pretty pleased to think that, yeah, if I need to, I can make a real big candy stripe if I want. Did it. Don't know where it is. Did I give it away? I feel like I gave that one away. So yeah. There. Okay, and so you're the question about like how keeping things from tangled up. So these ones down here are completely done, right? So they can just go off to the side because I'm not going past that point anymore. So I just concentrate on one little area at a time. Now, I do need to undo a few clips here. Is there hang on. Okay. Take these. We're gonna turn this up a bit. And these strings here, see if I can shift this up just a little bit there. So these are the strings I just replaced here the last time through. And seeing as how it's all done, I can go through and just trim these right down. Mind you, I was talking earlier about how I had added string without having noticed that there was a mistake earlier on. And fortunately, I hadn't cut the strings because that would have been really bad. Because once these are cut, there's really kind of no going back. And mind you, to me, like these strings are probably 6 inches or longer. It's still a good time to swap them up. But now I have them out of my way, so I can continue on without having them try to work themselves into the project again, which it can get kind of confusing when you have all these, you know, as you're working, you're trying to put the patterns in, you're trying to do the things. It can be kind of difficult to see where you're at and what you're doing. And if you have another string coming through and you don't realize that you've already used the blues, you end up adding in one extra knot, and that can really mess things up. So just little things to be cautious about. All right, let's see, the next one is the white cross. So in my mind, like all these things have like their own little title or whatever, like what they are. This one's a little bit tricky on changing out the color. So one of the first things I want to do, because I know that I need to start changing strings at this point, is to figure out like what's really, really short. And in this case, the shortest ones are the first two blues. So I think what we'll do, I'm going to go ahead and get the first knot in. The first knot gets covered by the oranges again. All right, not a big deal. I just make this little tiny chevron. And now the two blues here get tied. What I can do is I can take that one there, and I just do half the knot. This blue string I have off to the side here. Get the two ends together so it's nice and in half. Put this loop over here. And then do the second part of my knot. Great. Now, take the new one. Half the knot. Put the short tail through. And do the other half of the knot. This just really locks it in. This is all about making sure that it can't come unraveled. Take the long one again. Now the blue string was, let's see, this is where it folds back. The blue string, it was actually long enough that it wasn't like a urgent change it. But a lot of these strings here are at a length where they're going to have to go soon. And if I don't do it where it's convenient, it may turn out that I'm going to have to do it when it's very inconvenient. So, you know, pick your battles, right? Knowing that this is the shortest, knowing that it's coming up, it just means that, you know, I've got that out of my way. And it's really, trust me, it's really better to do it at your convenience, not at its, because the string doesn't care. All right. There we go. So this is the same as what I did on the other side, just in reverse. Take the long string, bring it in, and you have to be cautious not to over pull when you first put that string in there. That one really is about a finesse, because if you kind of overdo it, it will pull itself out. It'll pull that other knot. It's kind of funny, and that's not good. All right. So now at this point, the other blue can come up to the center. They're kind of short too. We'll change them up in a minute. I'm kind of doing this current box a little bit different than I normally would, but that's got everything to do with the whole, like, how I've added string and how I'm going to add in some more string here, because it looks to me like it's a good chance to just get all the blues changed up at once. So I don't know if you could see that. Like, so there's a little gap between these two blues right here. By giving it a good tug and a pull, you don't know if you can see that, but the whole thing kind of shifted up. That is the kind of moves that keeps things straight. It's how using the tightness, using your the knots in the right kind of way can change everything as far as how the whole thing shapes up for you. All right. I'm gonna not do this blue here. I'm gonna go ahead and do this corner over here. And see, like the short blue is in there, in that mix still. I'm gonna go over that with the blue and the yellow there, just to help make sure that that's never gonna unravel. These reds are way short. Honestly, I don't know if there's a way of sharing an image with YouTube. You might be able to share can you share the link to the picture you have in your Instagram? That might work. I don't know if it lets you do links. Yes, I know for a fact he has an Instagram. That's how I actually found out that he did it. And I'm like, hey, wait, you did a candy stripe. Is that a coincidence? So that's how I know that he had actually followed my YouTube tutorial. Let's just say I was a little bit suspicious, like, timing. But I definitely not hating on anybody who does my tutorials. I think that was awesome. All right. Yeah. Is it, John? You might remember. Was the one I actually made from that video, was that in one of the giveaways? Do you know? Actually, I guess I don't necessarily always show which one I sent out. Definitely super curious now. Because it seems to me I mailed that one out, but I don't know who got it. Okay, so this one here, right? I can put the blue through it, or I can lay it alongside the yellow. I'm gonna actually lay it alongside of the yellow. And the trick with that is I have to remember later on to not treat it as two different strings. That's where you really have to be cautious with some of this stuff. Nice. Yeah, I think that was a different video, John. There was a multiple one where I did the candy stripes as well. That was the friendship thing, right? See, I have such a hard time coming up with names that looking back and trying to remember what something got named, like, forget it. It had something to do with the friendship aspect of it, though. I remember that. Because there were 4 bracelets, right? There were 4 that were all similar, but each one different. I remember that. But that was different. There was a candy stripe all by itself, where I was like, try to do a real beginner's thing. Because to me, honestly, one of the things that really helped make me the knotter that I am today was the fact that I started out doing nothing but candy stripes and trying so hard to get the tension down to not have it go all curly and goofy and stuff. And that helped me to have a really nice, tight, consistent kind of knot. And then, like, later on learned that there were other knots, and then I was like, oh, and then everything sort of like settled down after that. But it was because I had started out simple that I ended up with a really decent, tight, consistent kind of knot. Yeah, that was, yep. It's so awesome when you guys can remember my videos more than I do. That's awesome. So I'm trying to get the blue to come through here. There it goes. So I'm doing the blue to the yellow again on this side. It's tricky adding these ones in here. I don't know if you guys are following along with that, but I basically have all 4 of the blues changed up just now. Having it back to being so nice and long, sure, it's a lot more arm movement, but it feels so much better. I don't feel like I'm about to run out of something again, at least not yet. Like I said, the big thing is you have these extra strings in there, and keeping track of which ones are the extras and which is the ones you actually want to work with. That's a real big thing. That's the little tiny chevron again. Mind you, these oranges gonna need changing up soon as well. And because none of the whole thing changes up as it's going along, each one is a little bit different. So where the things are getting changed is different. So all of the light blue, because all of the light blue was basically doing the same thing, they all changed at the same place. None of the rest of these colors are doing it. So it's all going to be really a mix after this, and that's okay. It's just a matter of I won't be able to plan quite so easily when the next change ups all happen. So kind of is what it is. And then instead of tying over the yellow and the blue, I just tied to the yellow and got that blue pulled up and out of the way. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. I kind of wish there was more of like a zoom feature or something for the camera, you know, be able to show a little bit better about how those change-ups actually happen. Yeah, see, this red is really short. That's definitely going to get changed. So there we go. That's all those blues swapped up in one pretty little crossover. The orange would have been nice to have gotten the oranges as well, but I think it was a little bit too much all at once. And again, this is why despite the fact that the blues weren't necessarily in need of being changed immediately, the fact that it lets me get through this and be able to go on to the next one and maybe, you know, change up something else that was needed just makes it possible. so the next square, it's one orange and then the reds come out. So that's perfect. I'm going to be able to change the reds. Right back with reds. So all my strings are already cut. I cut this last week, we were talking about this earlier. I cut 120 skeins, and I cut string number 4 there. That's the hooks that they're on, so I'm able just to go over there and get it. And what makes that kind of advantageous is, like just now, I change up some strings and I can just do the next ones as well without having to think too much about it, because the strings are there, they're available. I don't have to stop what I'm doing and cut up stuff each time. I just found the clip that fell. So yeah, taking a couple hours to cut up your string and have it all ready for when you need it is a whole lot better than, because if you have the momentum, you're working on it and things are going good for you, and then you have to stop what you're doing and then go cut a skein and then try to get back into the rhythm. It's just, honestly, some hooks really make all the difference in the world. And it doesn't have to be like the fancy, like mine are kind of pretty cool. They came from China, obviously. Doesn't have to be like that. I used to have the little hooks that they look like a question mark that screw in. That kind of stuff works just as well. You can put a little piece of wood or something up. Oh, you know what else works? I at a TJ Maxx back when I was in Detroit, they had this thing. It was meant for holding men's ties, and it must have had like 20 little pegs sticking out to hang your ties off of. That thing worked amazing, and it looked really, really cool, and I probably paid like $5 for it. Okay, so the little short red one there, I tied half the knot, brought the new one in, and I'll tie the other half. Then, and mind you, when I pull this one up, I make it really, really tight, so that way this motion of pulling the longer one does not affect the knot itself. Then I go to the next string, I tie the new string on halfway and bring the short one through. Normally I would like to do that 3-4 times, but in this instance I have to stop because the white goes over top. So go ahead and go over top of both of those, and by tugging that nice and tight, whoops, hang on, that red is so short, man. Anyways, by tying it nice and tight, you really won't see that there's an extra string involved. It really hides it. So now that I'm through with that, I can tie 2 more reds. Put the short one through. Do that again. And essentially at this point, that is plenty. Yeah, so now that I've actually done that much of the knotting, this little red one, it's done. So I will try very hard to pass it up here and off to the side. When I started doing this area, I was sending everything this way, but it's now gotten to the point to where sending it that way There's no, it's too far away. It can't do the thing. All right, yeah. So now the blue goes over this red. So this red is now completely long. And I will do the same thing for swapping out the strings on the other side. Get these strings anchored up way better. Right, okay, so yeah, I have like a lot of string in drawers and things like that, but once I cut it up, mind you, maybe it's just the scale of the things, but 120 skeins is a bunch. I mean, that's, it may not look like it on the hooks, but that's 120 skeins. There's a lot there. And if I had that in any, like a shoebox or even a decent sized drawer, I would definitely get my string in a bunch. That's, it would be potentially nightmare-ish. And so for me, a lot of the why I do things is to avoid other potential headaches. And by having them on the hooks, I can get whatever color I need with no fuss. If I was doing something, I can't imagine a scenario where it would be like only one color or only a couple colors. Maybe then, but I still, once you have the hooks to, if I had cats, I would probably do it your way. I suddenly just envisioned strings on a hook is just a cat toy nightmare kind of scenario. Yeah, no, I can see why you do it your way. But I don't have cats. Don't think I might end up getting a bird, which the wife and I have been talking about the possibility of getting ourselves a parrot or something, but, and even they would be potentially dangerous around string. Okay, so now that the weight's over, still just like to do, just go over it 3 or 4 times. I just take the long one, tie the knot, and then pass the short one through the middle of it. And that's all it takes to really just keep that tail from ever coming undone. Even if you put it through, like I've taken handbags that I made and put them through the washing machine, and by going over it as much as I have, that's it does not come undone. The knots themselves hold everything in place. Really cool. Yeah. Yeah. And mind you, you can even ask my wife. I love animals. We have a lot of cats around our neighborhood and stuff, and I think they're pretty awesome. But I don't. Too much string. Okay, so I have one short orange and I have a long orange. So one of these is going to have to get swapped up. But just one. That's whatever. Probably just one I didn't change over in one of the other sides. So let me get an orange string. So now on this one, what I've done is I paired the long one with the short piece, and the new one with the short piece, and the other one going off in the other direction, because this particular pattern, it won't get to do its thing quite yet. So the yellow is going to go over and secure that in place. So yeah, a lot of this is about knowing how to improvise, or knowing how to be able to change a string wherever you need it to change. Like I said, you just don't want to do too much in one area per se, because then it can get to looking a little sloppy. Like honestly, I know I changed the light blue up here somewhere. I can't see it. It's really that well hidden. Like, and I'm good at spotting, like, you know, flaws or whatever. It's just really you know, just to really help secure things down. So there's like 4 strings on this one and only 2 on this. I'm going to take the long 2, go over the 4, just because it's really just going to kind of crush that in there and make it so that way that can't come undone. Yeah, I kind of miss having a dog around. I like dogs too. Alright, now I'm gonna keep doing the whole thing. Like the long one makes a knot, and the short one comes through. Pass that one through the middle, and I'm going back the other way with the orange. This is going to be done. And I'm going to put it up and out of my way with all the other ones. Again, primary focus there is about not accidentally getting it into knots later on. I'm not sure that dogs are that interested in trying to gobble up string. There's no smell of yumminess about it or anything. No. But I mean, your dog's likely to eat string that's likely to chew on carpets or something. I mean, there's... I somehow feel like the dog, though, would be easier to keep out of the craft room than a cat. Like, you can yell at a dog and make a dog feel, like, really bad. And, like, okay, fine, I won't go in that room. Cats have this thing like, what? You don't want me in where? Oh, I'm definitely going now. Like, cats have, like, a whole different persona when it comes to what is forbidden. remember when Mom's phone? Yeah. Well, my dog growing up was never allowed past the kitchen area. Like, that was the part of the house it was allowed in. You know, we would go to bed at night, you know, it never, it knew better. Yeah. Right, of course not. Yeah. Yeah, you can't do that with a cat. Cats are not. Yeah, try keeping a cat out of your Christmas tree. Shiny baubles and tinsels and things. You know, as soon as you tell them that that's something they can't do, they're gonna wait for the opportunity to go and explore it anyways. And I know my cat ate some tinsel because one day it came from, I used to keep the cat box in the bathroom, and my cat came out of there and it had some tinsel hanging from its ass with a little bit of cat turd still attached to the other end of it, and like it's just tinsel and a turd. And when it started to walk, the turd touched the back of its foot and freaked him out, and he took off running, and the turd kept hitting the back of his feet. Scared the living hell out of the poor cat. Had me in his stitches. I was laughing. I had no idea that the cat had even eaten any tinsel, but obviously it passed it. Most of it, at least. Yeah, no, they're... Right. Yeah, and you can do the tape thing if you like want to keep like a cat out of a big flower pot. You can take tape because they don't like stepping on sticky things. That's one. The pepper sauce, that's another thing. They don't like super spicy. Yeah, there's all kinds of tricks. I get it, but guarantee you try to keep them out of a room. Like trying to keep them out of my bedroom when I wanted to go to bed. Like they started picking up on the fact that like, wait, he's just brushed his teeth, he's doing the thing, to the bedroom, hide under the bed. Like he's gonna lock that door and we'll never be able to get in there. Like they're just like that. So there we go. Almost done with that square. Cool. This is my least favorite square to make, by the way. But it's done and changed up strings. So that's awesome. It's one of the harder ones just because the way the orange comes straight down the middle. Not looking too shabby. Yeah. Oh, that's so good. Yeah, I suppose there's exception to the rules. Some cats are not necessarily gonna, you know, be a problem or whatever, but there's a thing down here. That's weird. My subscriber count thing was missing. That's cool. Hey, subscriber. Cool. Yeah, training cats I think is probably, maybe I'm not good at that because I like animals and I don't like to discipline them. I'm not mean. But cats just have a thick skull. So cool, new subscriber, that's good. Yay. Where are we up to now? 20, what is that to 21? Yeah. So yeah, subscriber count's getting better. It seems my watch time hours is falling off. We're getting around to where videos that had done extraordinarily well are becoming a year old. So the watch time, it only counts for the last 365 days. So anything that's older than that no longer counts towards, you know, how awesome things are. Oh, okay. Now I have a short loop. All right. Is there 2 short loops? Yes. All right. Hang on. Let me go get some string. Yeah. Right. Maybe I just don't have the right methods. I swear, my cats were. Yeah, it was brutal. I had gotten new shower curtains and they shredded them. Like the first time I ever splurged and didn't have the super cheapy ones. I paid like $30 for these shower curtains that kind of look like a fancy like a curtain you might have on a window or whatever. And it didn't last 2 days. The cat shredded it. And as upset as I still was not, I did not discipline them. I didn't whoop them like one might have thought. I was livid. I was so pissed. Yeah, I can't even just think about it now. Like, it was the one time I really just wanted to have something nice in the house. Because so much of everything else got torn up. My couches, everything becomes scratching post. Yeah, I can see how that would work with a dog. I'm telling you, these cats were from hell. And mind you, when I had the cheap shower curtain, never once came into the bathroom trying to tear it up. Buy the brand new one, yeah, destroyed. So yeah, I don't. At that point, click her all you want. Like, I came back there, I was infuriated. The cat went into hiding after it heard my tone. Yeah, it was. I mean, the fact that you've got cats that'll stay out of the room, that's impressive. I totally get it. But yeah, I'm slightly jaded from experience. Okay, so this is the orange one. So I don't know if you noticed that I just changed out the two blues. This is progressing nicely. I think Mandy's right. I think I would need to be trained first to how to handle a cat differently. It probably didn't help that the first of the two cats was already more than juvenile by the time I inherited it. So it already had its own quirks and whatever. I didn't get it as a kitten. The second cat came as a, well, kitten-ish. It spent a few weeks up at the veterinarian place because it was found in a dumpster in the dead of winter, had all kinds of things wrong with it, ear mites and just all kinds of bad news. And it was starved for affection and stuff. So when I took it in, it was still pretty small, and it stayed small because of the whole like being close to death or whatever, I guess. But yeah, tyrants. They were tyrants. You couldn't leave anything on a table or the kitchen counters or any of that kind of stuff. They would knock it off. No. Yeah, over time with having the cats, I eventually had a number of things broken, and eventually ended up having to buy like a new entertainment center that had glass doors to keep any of the knickknacks or beer steins or little things that I had that I didn't want broken were then behind these little glass doors where they couldn't get at it. The whole house eventually changed. I had huge boxes, like a refrigerator kind of box that had boxes inside with holes cut through it where they could climb through and play games and do their thing. So it wasn't like I didn't like create an atmosphere for them, but yeah, they'd still get into stuff, make messes of things. Yeah, Trix was amazing. Yeah, Trix was a good dog. Almost done with this square. I don't know if you saw where the blue went. It's now right next to where that orange is. There's just a fury of thread going in all directions here. Yeah, so the box in the box thing, I even had the holes that were vertical or whatever had like towels that hung over the door, so that way if the cat was inside, the other one might not see it. Eyes in the hands, hello. And you're nodding too, very cool. Trying to get the string from that I just replaced up and out of the way there, so I don't accidentally retie knots over things that I shouldn't. So eyes in the hands, have you seen this big project before, or is this your first time here? Is she? Really? I don't remember the name. I think maybe I'm not paying enough attention. My wife says you've been here before. Last week? My bot pops up something. I'm like suddenly look because I see the thing move. I'm like, oh, comments. No, it's just my bot. Oh, okay. The reason I was asking you is I was wondering if I should put in this to show like how this is sort of what, last week, the end of last week, somewhere. What I'm working on. It's getting bigger all the time. This is going to bring it down to right around 30 cm, which is like 11.8 inches. Yeah. Well, it's not just better memory. I get so concentrated. As much as I enjoy like the whole conversation, I totally do. I can never remember a name to save my life, and I'm sure that's got to do with, you know, ADHD as well as all kinds of other brain-related whatevers. But I'm also trying to concentrate to make sure that I don't make mistakes with the knots. So, like, there's that element as well. as well as trying to come up with like stuff to talk about, because you know that's a thing as well. Actually, where's, oh, thank you. There's another, where, that one. That gives the sense of how immensely crazy the whole thing is. That was a video I did for a YouTube Shorts. But now I am adding lots and lots and lots of string because the stuff was getting too short, and yeah, has to go. And if you don't pick when to do it, it will pick for you, so that's important. I thought so too. I was thinking the same thing. Like the music is sort of like got a little Asian vibe going there. I'm definitely pleased with how much I've managed to get done tonight. I have to be honest, I spent most of the day struggling to get any of it done. Couldn't focus, couldn't seem to get my head to wrap around it. Then I get with you guys, and the next thing I know, I'm doing way more. Like, that's kind of awesome. That's like not even just kind of awesome, that's totally awesome. But yeah. And all these are the strings I just replaced. I'm trying to keep them out of the way because it's really easy to accidentally pick one up and then you end up with an extra knot in the thing. That's totally cool to actually know that that's what it is. I was guessing that that might be what it was because I've heard that that's used in a lot of Asian music, but yeah, that's cool if you actually knew that. Because yeah, I don't, despite having a guitar behind me, I don't know if you can see it back there, I don't know how to really play it yet. I have a little amp that pretends to do different pedal effects, so I like just trying to make noise with it and play around with it a bit, but I really need to learn something like pentatonic to be able to make it sound cooler, because I have no idea what I'm doing. Yeah. Turns out right here, this is the best strings I know how to work. So, hey, your battery ran out and left that? Suddenly noticed the wife is using her phone instead. Like, huh. I think we lost the Gothic Silent Lamb. That's good. Okay, so this is this one. Okay. Yeah, one of the big things here is trying to make sure that I don't make mistakes and put the wrong thing in the squares, because that's happened and that's terrible. Ooh. I just clipped the mic there, sorry. So later this week, I'm going to do a video finishing up. I don't know if you saw yesterday's video. Working on what will be basically a bookmark, but it's a small swatch of a pillow that I want to make. And I kind of was doing it for the purpose of figuring out how big it would be, so that way I'd be able to figure out how much string I'd have to order. And I need to kind of get it finished so that way I can get a string order in, because I need to get more of this light blue. It turns out that when I did the math and tried to figure out how much string I would use in this project, I did not take into an account how frequently that one is actually going to get used up. So I need quite a bit of it, and I figure while I'm at it, I'll get enough string to do a pillow. Just noticed that this orange is short. Alright, I will change it down here. Do that for a second. I just realized, holy cow, it's almost 1. Time flies when you're having fun. I honestly didn't realize it was getting so late. Okay, Miss Memory, do you remember what time zone she's in? So eyes in the hands, what time zone are you in? What part of the world? Everybody's gone quiet. You want to grab me a single orange? Okay, never mind. Two reasons I stopped you. One, you're gonna bring it all down. And two, that's it. Okay. Back with more strength. So this time we're changing out these little yellow ones, or the gold. Kind of a problematic thing because it's such a small little whatever, but I'll show you how I do that. Right? So basically tied half the knot, put it on the yellow. Now take the new string, tie it to the next one, and then take the short one and put it with what I'm tying it to, because this one is coming back. So now that is going to get tied underneath. The yellow and the blue are just going to kind of be paired up for a few knots to be able just to make sure that's nice and secure. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. The big thing here is making sure you get it in half. That's whatever you have it off by, you end up with losing like double that in string. Go, and now tie onto the blue, and then tie over both the blue and the shorter yellow. You see, it makes a real nice clean look, and easy. At this point, I'm only using the single new yellow to tie up these knots, and then you'll see here as I tie the red across, I'll go over top of the blue and the yellow with them joined like that, and it just keeps that well hidden. Now, slightly unfortunately, I have to change out that orange, which was going to go over the two of them. Well, it will. But that's kind of like a lot of string in one spot, so that's sort of try to avoid that, but there are times where it might be necessary. Yeah, there's been a lot of string changed up in the little bit that I've done here tonight. So if you haven't watched the whole video, come back and watch it again. I explain all kinds of getting past different portions and different areas where the string needs to be changed. Like I was saying, I'm going to change up that orange, put the two ends together. So yeah, basically doubling up the string really allows this to be able to start off and be tied really nice and tight. Keep things from possibly unraveling. It's just So like now the white's going to go over top of those two oranges. That's really going to hold it in there pretty good. But I'm going to go ahead and just one more time just to the long one, flip the short through, and then tie it. Last couple knots be done. And then now that where the blue and the yellow are combined, I'm going to use this row to help kinda, because I'm only going to tie it to the yellow and not the blue, it's going to push the blue sort of out of the way, and it kind of makes it easier when it comes to like then taking it and then adding it to the other group of stuff. Oops, no, it's the, I'm sorry, it's not the blue, it's the yellow that has to come out. Get back here. Lost my needle. So obvious sign of I'm getting tired. Making a simple mistake like that. It's the yellow is supposed to come out. So I tie it to the blue. And again, I try to pull them all off to the side, get them out of the way, because it would be real easy to accidentally tie a knot to one and end up with the wrong number and cause all kinds of other mayhem. So again, blue and the yellow, if I just tie to the blue, the yellow sort of separates and kind of drops out of the way, and then I can pull it off to the side. It's a subtle little trick, but it actually works really, really well. There we go. Not bad, not bad. All right. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning here, and my brain is starting to look at these colors and see them all the same. So I think we're gonna call it a night. Before I go, I do want to thank all my Patreon people. You guys help make this channel what it is, and I thank you very much for all of the help and contributions you guys have made. I will be back hopefully next Friday with a regular video, and next Saturday with another one of these live ones. So hopefully you can be there for it. I would love to see you guys, and until next time, don't get your strings in a bunch.